Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kenny Lamons here with Medicare Millennials. Today's video is going to be really interesting because I want to discuss whether selling Medicare Advantage plans and managing a Medicare book of business is truly a passive income or if it's more of a semi-passive income and what that should look like to you in the future as you grow your business, okay? Now, granted, to be fair, I am not 15 years into this business. So if you ever collect a book of business of 20,000 customers, this may look different. But what I will do is give you a realistic expectation of what managing a small to mid-size book of business looks like on the scale of the passivity that it really entails, okay? So, first and foremost, what exactly is passive income? I mean, I've thought about this a lot. And is there really any income that is 100% purely passive? I don't think so, because even if, to give you guys a couple of examples of close to passive income, if you paid a money manager that invested in various stocks for you and all you really did was collect the dividends or whatever distribution that you got from those investments over time, that's mostly passive, but it still involves you overseeing and discussing things with your money manager, etc., etc. Then there's something like Airbnb, right? So my business partner and his wife, they do a lot of that. And thankfully, I've got to learn a lot about that from them. If you follow Ethan Gladwell on Instagram or just go follow at Medicare Millennials, you can kind of see what his wife puts out there as far as content on Airbnbs. But anyway, that's something where you do a lot of work up front. You've got to invest heavily in like buying a property or leasing a property, getting it all set up, getting a manager in place to kind of take care of the cleaning and the listing and stuff for you. And then that's pretty passive as well, but you've still got to make sure that those things are being done, put all that work in on the front end to kind of get that machine rolling, and it still wouldn't be purely passive. So I would say Medicare falls maybe right below something like Airbnb. Here's why. It doesn't take as much work or investment to set up that initial passive income flow, but it does require a little bit more management or work on your end as the agent than, say, like I mentioned, a stock portfolio or even several Airbnbs that somebody else is managing for you. But it's far more passive, I would argue, than, say, being a financial advisor with the recurring income that you get from your book of business there, or being a P&C agent and having to deal with claims and renewing policies every 6 months or 12 months, etc. More passive than that, okay? So let me just kind of explain what the bare minimum requirements would be for you to service your book of business properly, okay? If y'all have watched my videos at all, you know that I'm an advocate of staying in front of your customers. Minimum of 1 quarterly postcard, text message, phone call, etc. And then answering their phone calls as they come in. But that's not absolutely necessary. If you've built your book the right way, you still need to do at minimum 1 annual review. This can be in person or on the phone, depending how you built your book of business. But if you didn't do that at a minimum, you would be completely doing a disservice to your clientele and possibly losing business. Now, a lot of times, as long as a plan's not pulling out from an area or something crazy, they're going to auto-renew if they don't make a change. Okay, so the annual enrollment period comes around. They've had this plan that you put them on the whole year. You're getting monthly income off of it. And if they do nothing and that plan doesn't pull out of the area or anything like that, it's going to automatically renew and they're going to keep going for that next year. But it's possible that some of their doctors are no longer in network on a Medicare Advantage plan. It's possible if it's a med sup that the rate has gone up so much that they're not going to keep it. It's possible that the plan is pulling out of that area and you've got to situate them onto a new plan. So at minimum, you need to do 1 annual review with every single customer just to do your minimum amount of work for them as well as not to lose too much business too quickly. Beyond that annual review, you're going to do very minimal service work in this industry. We don't actually do any claims, okay? So if there's a dispute there where they want to get a certain prescription that's not on formulary, or if a certain provider is not network, or they're declining coverage or requiring prior authorization, in almost every one of those circumstances, the only one of 2 things that you can do as an agent. You answer that phone call, you be empathetic with them and understand what they're going through, and you either 1, connect them with the right person at the insurance company or provider's office that can actually fix the problem, because you do not facilitate claims. You don't set the formulary. You're not going to actually do, it's not your obligation to go through and do appeals for these customers, but you are to coach them and lead them in the right direction to make sure they're getting the services they need. So in other words, you might help them understand the general appeals process if they're in that situation. You might get them on the phone with the claims department to help them understand why a claim isn't being filled or whatever. You're just going to connect them with the right resource and guide them a little bit, not actually deal with the claim. Secondly, the other option, if you're not connecting them with the right person to fix the problem, is you may actually just need to facilitate changing them into a new plan if and when possible. So, we cannot control if an entire doctor's network stops accepting a plan or the plan is no longer a network with that provider. And so in those circumstances, as frustrated as the customer may be, the best thing that we can do is either get them in touch with somebody to change that provider, or if and when possible, suggest a new plan where maybe that provider is going to be a network, okay? Some of the most common things that we deal with as agents are really, really simple service work. Ordering a new card for somebody that lost theirs. Helping them get on the phone to change their primary care doctor if they're on an HMO. Setting up some of those extra benefits that Medicare Advantage plans can offer, like making sure they know what dentists are in network on the dental plan, making sure they call the right phone number or go to the right website to set up their over-the-counter benefits, or that they have the right catalog in hand to order their products from. Very, very simple things that are really just helping you build relationships with them. It's not a heavy service workload, and 500 clients is really easy for an individual to manage, in my opinion. It's yet to see at what breaking point that I would feel required to go out and hire somebody full-time to help me manage that book of business. In fact, I think I'm just going to bring my wife in here soon to kind of help with some of the CSR, customer service related stuff on my book of business, but it's just not absolutely necessary until you hit some really high numbers. Okay. So let me give you all one quick snapshot, a picture of what it might look like to manage a book of, let's just say 500. That's nothing to snub your nose at, but it's also not a giant book of business. 500 customers would roughly equate to nearly $12,000 per month in renewal income. So a nice, healthy, steady renewal income. A lot of people would be ecstatic with that amount of money. So let's just say you were ecstatic with that amount of money and you wanted to do the minimum required, and I'm not encouraging this, I'm just telling you my experience. If you were going to try to do the minimum required to maintain that number of clients as best you could, let's just be real conservative and assume you were going to lose 20% year over year. A lot of brand new agents do lose that much. I've been there, but it should be far lower than that as you progress and learn some of the things you need to know. But let's just say you've got 500 customers. You need to bring on 100 new customers every year to guarantee that you're gonna keep pace with that 500 and either grow it slowly or at minimum keep it to the same amount. You're getting $12,000 a month. I would argue between your annual reviews, your service work, and then gaining referrals to write those 100 policies throughout the year to maintain the size of the book, may only take you 15 to 20 hours per week, okay? Now, obviously, if you're trying to grow that book, you're working leads, you're out in the community, that 15 to 20 hours can triple really quick. But if you're just doing the bare minimum, it's not a 100% passive income. You're wanting to write some new policies to replace business that's leaving. You want to service your customers at least at a minimum necessary amount. And so between all of that, you could realistically do that as almost like a part-time job, 15 to 20 hours a week with that size of a book. So these are all just estimations. There's no hard and fast rule, and it may be different for everybody. But I hope this gives you an idea that I don't want anybody getting into this business to have the unrealistic expectation that it is a 100% passive income, because it's not, and there is a certain amount of work that's involved. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, really appreciate it. You guys can reach us. Ethan and I do help train and recruit agents. We connect you with the same FMO that we use. We provide coaching and mentoring. And if we seem like we could be a good fit for you, you can reach us at MedicareMillennials.com, as well as follow us on Instagram, where Ethan puts a lot of really bite-sized content out there, and that is just at Medicare Millennials. I hope you guys have an awesome week. get out there and work your leads, milk referrals, and grow your book of business. Y'all have a great day.